What's up, Bills fans? Harrison Graham here from Chat Sports with another edition of the Buffalo Bills Breakdown. And we have some news to get to with mandatory minicamp getting underway. We have a big James Cook update. We're going to address that later on in the show, so stay tuned. And also, the Bills have signed a linebacker as they add to their defense. That is where we will kick this show off. Ian Rappaport had the news that the Bills have signed a longtime Panthers star linebacker Shaq Thompson to a one-year contract. If you know the name, it's because he's had a really, really good career. I like this move. This is an underrated signing by Buffalo. We've talked about maybe adding another impactful player on defense. I don't know if he's like super impactful at this point in his career and certainly plays a position off-ball linebacker that he's probably not changing the direction of this team too much, but I do like the move. You look at this linebacker room now, you go three deep, I would say, and feel pretty good about that. Obviously, most teams play nickel base, and you got Matt Milano, Terrel Bernard for that. But Shaq Thompson becomes that third guy who can play both spots and base downs. You can have him on the field. Maybe they let him compete for one of those starting two roles. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, with Thompson, the reason he's still available and the reason he's signing a one-year deal at this point in his career is because the last couple of years, he just has not been healthy. He has missed a ton of time, missed 13 games last year, 15 the year before. So, in terms of injury risk, that certainly exists with this signing. But again, I assume this is a one-year, close to vet minimum deal, not a huge financial risk here. And part of why I like this signing is, he comes in with some injury concerns from the last couple of years, but you know who else has been banged up? Matt Milano has been banged up a lot. Terrel Bernard missed 4 games last year, so even though chances are one of these guys will go down at one point, at least now you have another body to throw in there, because before it was a pretty big drop-off after Milano and Bernard to the rest of that crop. Now if Thompson can come in here, be mostly healthy, he gives you another option to plug and play at either linebacker spot. So I like the move for Buffalo. I could see them doing some more stuff. Obviously, you're seeing all the holdout stuff today with TJ Watt not at mandatory minicamp, Trey Hendrickson. We'll see if they try to make a splash for something like that. But this has kind of been the theme of the offseason. Get quality, depth, and bodies for that defense to load up on that side of the ball. Grade the signing of Shaq Thompson. Get the red pen out. Teacher time. A, B, C, D, or F. At this point in free agency, not going to cost much money. I think it's an A signing. Potential, huge potential if he's healthy and is out there a lot. And even if it doesn't work out, didn't break the bank to get him. So I'm a big fan of this move by Brandon Beane. All right, appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll get to James Cook in a second, but a lot of reasons to subscribe. When there's breaking news, signings like this, we're going to get that to you. We react to everything happening on the field. OTAs, minicamp, those things have been going on and will continue to go on throughout this week. We'll have full training camp coverage for you guys in July and on into August. Obviously, in-season coverage when the season gets here. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. All of this content plus more here on the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers. Okay, James Cook, a day after we thought he would not be at mandatory minicamp, he shows up. He is present at Bills mandatory minicamp. Adam Schefter with the note today that the source tells him that Cook, who has been seeking a new contract this offseason, is in attendance for today's mandatory minicamp. Now, I don't think we should read too much into this, but it's not nothing. Like I did not expect James Cook to show up. Just based on what we had been hearing, he's pretty frustrated with the lack of, not even just a new contract, but the lack of discussions between his party and the Bills up to this point in the offseason. So for him to be in the building, I think, is at least noteworthy, if nothing else. And it's certainly a switch up from what Schefter had previously been hearing, which we discussed yesterday. And he said he has basically disconnected himself from the organization in the city. He put his house up for sale. I don't think we'll be seeing him in Buffalo anytime soon. 24 hours later, he is at the practice facility for mandatory minicamp. Now, by all accounts, I don't think he's going to be practicing. I haven't seen anything that suggests he's going to go through there. And I do think the main reason he's probably present is because he values his money and he doesn't want to get fined. At mandatory minicamp, unlike OTAs, if you don't show up, you are subject to fines. 3 days of mandatory minicamp, you can get fined for each day. So this is what you would call, like, during training camp, a hold-in. I think it's a minicamp hold-in where I'm going to show up, I'm going to avoid my fines. Maybe part of this is, hey, I'm going to show the Bills some goodwill here. Like, this has been a good partnership. But I do think, if you're pie charting it, what is the primary reason for James Cook to show up? It's to avoid fines, because it, especially when you're still on your rookie deal, adds up to $90,000, $100,000. That's a good amount of money, even for a guy who's making in the millions. But it's not like, he's TJ Watt making $20-something million per year. He doesn't care if he loses $100,000, especially since his next deal will be $35-40 million per year. James Cook is going to get a big contract in all likelihood, but it won't be that much. And the position he plays, it's, sometimes it can get rocky in these negotiations. Now, I fully think he should get a contract. I think he deserves a contract. We've outlined this and detailed it a lot here on the Bills Breakdown with the philosophical shift in this offense, which has leaned into a more power run game with Joe Brady. Obviously, Josh Allen runs the ball, but James Cook has become a big part of this operation. He's 10th in all-purpose yards among skill players over the past 2 years in the NFL. I'm not making the argument that he's Saquon Barkley. I'm not making the argument that he's even Derrick Henry, but he's pretty close to the top guys, right? Like, he's at the top of that kind of next group in the NFL. I'd say he's anywhere from RB4 to RB8 in this league, and making $5 million this year is not a reasonable number for what he provides, which is why I've continued to throw out there, I think $15 million per year makes sense. I think Derrick Henry for this year, I would rather have than James Cook, but he's kind of year to year at this point as he gets older. James Cook has limited mileage, a lot of tread on the tires, very efficient and effective, catches the ball well, translates to cold weather. When you need to lean on the run game and short passing game, they really used that a lot down the stretch last year. I would not play under my current contract if I was James Cook, and I don't expect him to. But showed up today, avoiding the fines, perhaps a signal of goodwill toward Buffalo in terms of the negotiation messaging, but we'll see what happens. Like, I don't think without a new contract he's going to play this year. I would imagine he does not show up to training camp without a new contract. You see this sometimes where players will show up to mini camp and, kind of a sign of good faith, goodwill, but if they don't have a good deal by training camp, they won't show. And that'll kind of be a stronger message, because training camp practices are much more critical than mini camp practices. Okay, predict it for us. Will James Cook get a new deal before training camp? Type Y for yes, he will, and for no, he will not. I think this gets done. I just think Buffalo, if this was the Ken Dorsey Bills offense, I wouldn't be as strongly advocating to pay James Cook. But again, since Joe Brady has taken over, he is a big part of what they do. And I just think that is a move that the Bills are going to need to make, even if they feel like the price tag of $15-16 million per year is a little hefty. All right, that's going to do it for the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Harrison Graham. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll continue to have you guys covered with any new Cook updates and obviously everything else surrounding mandatory minicamp.